Hello everyone, welcome to the talk. But what exactly is product development? In the series of talks, Career in Technology by Institute Technical Council IIT Bombay. To know the demographics of the audience, we have started a poll. Please fill it. Thank you. Today we have Adarsh as the moderator for the talk. Over to you, Adarsh.
Right, so hello everyone and welcome to today's session on product development. I hope that everybody is safe and healthy. These really are unprecedented times, but as students, we have to try to be as productive as possible. And so it is great to see all of you attending today's session. I'm Adarsh, currently a fourth year mechanical engineering student in our institute, and I'm really excited to be the moderator for today's session that we have with Mr. Devansh Sharma. Devansh has a dual degree in mechanical engineering and graduated from our institute in 2011. With a keen interest in mechatronics right from his school days, Devansh was involved in robotics team from the first year itself, starting with Robocon, which is one of Asia's largest competitions, to leading the IIT Bombay team to victory in the DRDO GPS rover competition in his fifth year. Devansh has also been instrumental in setting up the Sign Robotics Lab in our institute. After graduation, he joined TQV in the Gillette division, which I'm sure is a dream company for a lot of students present here. In the 4 years that he spent at Gillette, he developed over 20 machines in India, which led to over 50% cost savings in capital expenditure in various projects. He was also part of the global engineering team later, where he developed machines in various countries like Malaysia, Poland, and even the United Kingdom. Continuing his passion to build products, he then started his own company called Zmore in the electronics domain, which is currently one of the top Internet of Things based smart home product manufacturers in our country. He leads a team of 75 people in various domains like R&D, sales, production, product design, etc. Zmote is now aiming to be a global player in the smart home market within few years. Now, before starting the session, I would like to urge the students to ask questions and get your doubts cleared. You can do this in the chat box during the question answer session after the talk has been concluded. And I'm sure Devansh will be more than happy to answer your queries. Over to you, Mr. Devansh, and thank you for spending your valuable time.
Yeah, thanks, Adarsh, for the kind introduction. And hello, everyone. So, I'll just start away with today we'll discuss about product development. I selected this topic out of various topics because that is what I think is lacking in the current education system or currently in India. That is where we lack as compared to the global technology ecosystem. We have the talent, but how to channelize that talent into developing world-class products? That's what is the need of the hour. So, as I think you can see my screen also. So, what he has given a brief background about the chronological order of the things that I've done. That is not mentioned here. But what I would like to focus here is that what is the things that I learned over the course of this 10 years, a journey into technology. So at the time of my time in IIT Bombay, my mentor was Professor Aman Lal. He was one of the founding professor of Sign Lab, and he has guided our team to set up a robotics lab. And his aim was to teach us in course of 4 5 years that I spent in Sign Lab to just develop something. It should not be a product. It should not be a just take anything in your hand, either software or even if it is a repeat work, the existing code is available or hardware technology. Just get your hands dirty and start building, drilling, PCB soldering, whatever is needed. So here you get to know what exactly you want to do later in your life. So during that course of time, I developed these small products, security systems. So nothing was commercially sellable, but it gave me an interest that where I want to be and develop a passion towards technology. Now, after that, I got placed in Procter and Gamble. So I was one of the first few people who got selected from a technology background into PNC. They were expanding into their factories and they needed technical people to take care of the machines that they had to take. So that was also quite unexpected, but fortunately, my role in the company was very much interesting, where I was given the opportunity to take up low-cost automation projects. So Gillette is actually a technology company, so it's the world market leader in shaving with 80% market share, and that's not because of marketing or anything. It's because nobody can make products like Gillette because they have been building machines on which the products are built for over 100 years. So they have a team of like 5,000 design and product engineers based out of Boston. So there I got to experience a bit of small projects in the first year where we would take up the concept and start developing those machines in India. Over the course of 4 years, I was handling projects for 15 crores every year, where we would be building 10 machines, and so that gives us an idea how to develop machines. The machine is not exactly a product, but it's a product for, as an engineering person, it is a product for the production team. So there you don't have that much responsibility because you can do the modifications at the plant level. Then I had a 1 year small stint which I was not mentioned, where I took care of a family business of a pharma API factory. So that was a concept to learn how basic work is done at a town level in India. That was a small stint, and then that was done, and I started working on cinema. So there, what I learned was when I started out, I thought that this is a very simple product, a smart home product. You just have to turn off lights and fans via mobile. So I'll be able to develop this product in 3 to 6 months, and we will launch and this much will be the manufacturing cost. So when I started building out, so the prototype was made in 15 days, but to take that complete working prototype, but to take that prototype to a sellable product, it took us over 15 months. And that was also a beta product. So there we learned that in the ecosystem that we have, there is a lot of gap in the product development side because a lot of vendors or suppliers are not present. There are no designers who can help out any new company or a person who is looking to develop products which are commercially sellable and of good quality. And then once we learned as a company that we had a team of roughly 3 people in R&D for the product development team. So in 1.5 years, we developed 2 products. And after that, in next 1 year, we could develop 10 more products. Now we are 20 products in manufacturing. We are our own manufacturing facility. So that was the big learning experience. That is why I decided that these terms should be focused on product development. So go to the next slide. So what
Uh,
exactly?
hello, Devansh. Can you bring the mic closer? Your voice is a bit cracking, and we're not able to hear you properly.
Okay, maybe I'll stop the video. Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, okay. So, what exactly is a product? So, this is a basic line from Wikipedia. Marketing a product is a system made available to consumers use that actually satisfies its desire or need. So, we use like thousands of products daily. We come in interaction now. What we are using is laptop, is even the Cisco WebEx. Everything is a product developed over decades of iterations, and we don't really feel the importance of how much effort has gone into a product that is that we are using currently. For example, if you take a simple remote control of air conditioner, a product development life cycle would take care of where should the on off button would be, and then that they would evaluate it from all the perspectives of a person whose hand sizes is like this. A child should be able to comfortable in using the remote button. What should be the pressure? A person should feel that the button is pressed. It should not be hard. It should not be soft. If it is kept opposite side on the table, then the remote button should not be pressed. The printing should not wear off after thousands of use cycles. It should be a bit waterproof so that you can use it with wet hands. So these are some of the things that go around in developing a simple product like a remote control. What so another then next comes are the product internal features. So if you take example of a remote, the internal features would be like the functionality. It should work. Now, what distance should it work? What should be the range? Um, can it work only in direction, or it should work in pointing in the opposite direction also? Then there comes reliability, where it should work for how many years and how much time should the batteries be available, and technology, if you're using some unique technology or not. For example, the IR, so any remote is based on infrared. So, you have to have a specific protocol which is approved by a global agency when you are designing a remote. So you cannot have a remote when uh, generally it is advised you can sell, but in India there is no rule. But in Europe, if you sell a remote, then you have to have a approved your IR data in such a format so that it doesn't clash with other remotes. So these are all the things that go about when you know how the product is made. But if you don't know and you start getting into it, then you take years of time and how to develop the product. Next is the external features, which we already discussed, ergonomics and ease of access. And currently in today's market, most important thing is the aesthetics. It should look good, the color, the finish, and a lot of effort, and there's a huge scope in the market for agencies which charges like millions of dollars for companies like develop laptops or Apple or any other technology company just to have what should be the color of the product, which is appealing to the eyes, what should be the finish, golden, silver, aluminum. So there goes a lot of effort into getting into product aesthetics. So this is something about the product and how it's developed and what thought process it comes. Next is product development life cycle. So how to get in? What's the product development basic life cycle? So first is product concept definition, where a senior management or as a person, you are given a choice that what product should be developed, what should be the concept of the product, what consumer need it will fulfill, is it required daily in consumer's life. So these are the basic things that are discussed at the time of concept definition. And here it so this is the time that it, we should give a lot of importance into product overall usage, because if you take a decision here and after 1 year when your product is ready you want to change anything, that is like completely impossible, because as a design cycle you all must be aware that at the early point you can do changes as many as you want, but at the later point in the design it's financially impossible to make any changes to the product. So this is what is done at the concept definition phase, where we answer a lot of questions from marketing team, management team, finance team, production team, that this product is feasible and it is sellable and it is marketable. Now next comes the system architecture. So again, this is also equally important, where it's also done at a very senior level, that a senior management or senior technical team or the technical heads will discuss that what should be the system architecture for the product. By system architecture, we mean that what product should have, let's say if you're designing a remote control only, then what LCD screen, what this would be having, and which IC will you be using, how much RAM or data would that IC have, and then again we go into details that how will we load the software into the system, what should be the system, there will be a receiver, so how would it, so the complete system architecture taking into point complete all technical aspects of the products. That's the second part. Third is the hardware design. Again, now it comes into after system architecture, the technical head would divide all the work into different technical teams. So first would be like there would be hardware team, there would be software team, and there can be any other teams, QA team, testing team. There would be packaging. Let's say you want to have a packaging for complete products, you have a packaging team as well. There would be team who would be doing creatives for the marketing. There would be team who would be designing catalogs. There would be team who would be designing website and all those things. So the after system architecture design, all this is divided into various teams. So it involves almost all technical fields. Now, once all that is combined, we have a product prototype where we decide that we should test out a product that we are thinking. So, for example, if we take again coming back to the remote example, if we have a remote, then the plastic body it's made out of injection molding. The mold cost is very high and it takes around 6 months to develop a good quality injection mold. So the product prototyping team would develop the complete casing in 3D printing technology, and then they would develop the complete PCBs and put it up and make different samples, and then take out a survey with maybe with that marketing team or with actual consumers. There are agencies which do that survey as well, where you can get an idea of how to get the product, what would be the product apprehension when it is sold to the consumer. So that may be done between 1,000 people, 50 people. It depends on the scale what you are working on. So that's the product prototyping part. After we have a product prototype, then we go for testing and validation, where we test the final prototypes and in worst case scenario. So worst case scenario would be again, as I told, putting it in water or extreme temperatures, keeping up the this remote in 50-degree, 60-degree environment for 30 days and then taking it out and then again using it. So what effects it would have on the rubber or LCD screen and all those things. So that is again testing and validation. And then final is the production support, where it's finally checked for manufacturability. Here that is very important to take care at the time of concept definition system architecture phase, because if the product is not manufacturable and the manufacturing cost is very high, then your cycle is you have to start from the basics again. So then we check. So product should be manufacturable in millions or 10,000s or whatever is the scale it is designed for. And then finally maintain efficient production levels and product sustenance in the market, that it's perceived well and quality is taken control, and then there are designs for machines which take care of quality and production. So as a part of our company, we follow all of these procedures for developing any product and maintaining production. Also, we have to develop our own machines to do 100% quality checks and take care of before going it into the market. So this is like the basic product development cycle. Next is average time to develop a standard hardware product. If you are well thorough, is like 9 to 12 months, and for a startup it can vary anything from 12 to 36 months. So most important part of any company's success would be the product or process innovation, and that is we can discuss more on that later. If you have any questions on that, I can give you various examples like arriving at a product like iPhone. A company like Apple would take around 10, 15 years to get to that level. And any other product, a car, maybe the Volkswagen engine that you have, that most of the cars have, the 2-liter engine. It's developed over a course of 40 years. So this we can discuss later if anybody has questions. Some other interesting facts would be that the number of products that are developed every year in USA that are launched, consumer products, are 30,000 products every year, and out of them 95% of them fail. US is one of the most advanced countries which develop best quality products and which have the highest experience in launching consumer products, and still 95% of their products fail because they either miss some of the points which consumer is not willing to accept at the time of sale. And only 40, another statistics, only 40% of developed products that make it to market. Of that, only 40%, only 60% generate any revenue at all. So even if you have launched a product, there is a chance that it will not generate any revenue at all. A lot of products have to be scrapped. I would share this link. This is a very good article, which you guys can read later on. Is that why? So, it's a talk by Tim Cook that why Apple makes iPhone in China, and that's not because of you think that it's low cost and labor is low. And they have the factory there for assembly. That's not a reason at all. That was the reason like 20 years back, and now the 100% reason is that China has great expertise in product development. You just send them the photograph of any product, and they'll give you the product in fastest amount of time, in 3 months, 6 months, and they'll manufacture it at a scale of over million products per month at a 100% success quality rate, and that's what he explains in this article, that why uh, product development is the most important part of any company that is needed, because every year they have to launch a new product. And then so this is finally about careers in product development. I saw some of you were asking how do we start about it. So product development is like a holistic field, and it's a lot of part of the designing and discussion and the concept ideation part. So there is no specific field that you need to get into product development. You can be a software engineer, you can be a hardware, mechanical, civil, chemical. All can get into product development because all fields have some of the other products. So, but overall, like a general career trajectory would be, as mentioned in the slide, that product designer, you can start out as a product designer. You have a basic knowledge of Autodesk, AutoCAD, and you make an outline of a product. For example, if I have a product designer in my company, I will give him a basic idea that I have to make a innovative remote control for air conditioner, which should be completely different from market. So you design the casing for it. So the first thing that we start out from is that how it should look and how it should be different from the market. And then as a product designer, you keep on learning that this size is not feasible for the PCB. This is the basic LCDs available in the market. So it's all about experience that you get into a specific field of product designing for, let's say, electronics, or you can get into automobile, or you can get into furniture design, or you can get into chair design, whatever. So that you gain expertise, and then you have a holistic knowledge, and then you start getting it to higher level in that field. Then comes the industrial designer, where person does who makes the plastic design in such a way which is moldable. So the plastic should not be such a way designed, the casing should not be such a way designed that it's impossible to manufacture. So if you have a knowledge of manufacturing, then you can be a better product designer. And then again comes the packaging designer. So product designer, interior designer, packaging designer, all would be at the same level, starting out level in any company. And they can grow from there into specific fields. Then there can be a brand manager who would again get into the market. So what a consumer needs, what product should be launched in the market, at what pricing. So there comes a bit of a financial analysis, competitive analysis also while designing a product. Then there would be a product manager who would manage a complete life cycle of a product. So life cycle of product, as we discussed, from development to launch to production. And in today's time, generally a product after being launched, it's successful for, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years, and then it needs a major innovation or a major update. So that would be the end of that product. So the complete management of the product life cycle, and managing a launch of the product. So launch of the product would be to get making a project schedule, and getting all teams online, and having the whole project in hand. So that would be the product manager's role. When you go again as above the ladder, CTO, again CTO's work would be to give a holistic view of all technical activities related to work. As we discussed, he would be the person who would design the system architecture, and then he would give it to various other teams, divide the work, and then again compile and develop and make a prototype. So that would be the CTO's role. And also he would be involved in providing technical feasibility to the management. There would be a lot of times where management and sales team would come and they would give an idea that this is the product that we need to make in this much time. So he would bring them to reality that this is not possible and this takes this much time. So that is the work of the CEO. And then finally, if the most important part of CEO is to envision a new product. And if you are into an innovative company, you are a regular FMCG, some other company which is not making product, that is a different part. But a general innovative technology company would the CEO's main work would be to envision a new product for next 3 to 5 years and then mobilize the whole team and the company to development of the product. And if that product doesn't work out, then that's the fate of the company. So everything depends on what's the product. So this is a lot about product, and we are done with the presentation. If you have any questions?
Can you hear me, Devansh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so to all the participants, if you have questions, you can start entering them in the chat session. So I'll just pick up one question which we already got. So the question was, is a mech or a technical background required to get into product design? And expanding on this question, what are the core tangible skills to excel in this field? If you could talk a little bit about that as well.
As I discussed, you don't need to be 100% technical person to get into product development. For product designer, sure, you need to be a technical person because you will be working on softwares and you need to have technical skills. But as a product development manager, you can always have an holistic view of getting, as we mentioned in that slide, the brand manager, the product manager work. It's all about managing, launching the product at the right time. So if you get into tier 1 MBA, or maybe then you get a product manager role in Google. So in that you start out with managing the existing products. That is 100% non-technical work when you have to look into reviews, how many users are looking into it, how many is the product growing, number of users are growing or they are decreasing, what product innovation is needed, what competition is being launched. So that in always a product meeting there will be a person who will bring these facts to the table. So that is also a completely non-technical person, and that is also very senior.
Okay, interesting. So I think if we can also, could you move your mic a bit closer? I think some of the participants are, if that's not a problem.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think it's clear now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is basically, in your opinion, what kind of facilities can we make available at the campus to promote this kind of product development culture? Do you have any suggestions?
What I think is that facilities are already available, but and even in my time, it was not very popular, and I am not aware of currently how it is going. But as I told that when you are in the campus, just go to any lab, and if you are a technical person, start working on any of the technical projects or making anything that you see. If you want to make anything that you think that you can make, you should start making it. Then you will realize it. If you are a non-technical person, then there is Sign, and you can go to Sign and so you can check out that what all projects Sign would like to do, or you have any business idea. So any business idea at the startup phase is all about product. What product are you launching? So there can be products related from the business aspect part of it. So it's like that you can at least initiate. And overall it's all about at this time it's all about reading, and there's a lot of news and a lot of article coming into it, getting updated from the world news, what new products are being launched. Follow TechCrunch, follow other companies, what product launched, what product failed, why failed. Then you get a basic idea about all this.
Okay, interesting. So I think we have one question here. Basically, what he's asking is if he has an app with say 5 core features. So the minimal viable product has 5 core features. So the question is it beneficial to release all 5 features and then improve upon them, or release it one by one? So basically, should we take an iterative approach, or should we take the other approach where we build one aspect of the product and then we launch the entire product? So any
So
opinion on that?
I will answer in a generic way. So if you have you have an app with 5 features, and even one of the features solves one of the need of the consumer. Like it should solve a need. If it is not needed and it is a feature, then it can be skipped. Okay. Let's say if I am making a hotel booking app, then the basic feature would be to list all the hotels and book it, okay, at a good price. So this would be the basic feature which should work perfectly, and it should be launched. The other feature would be that my innovation is that, let's say, it gives you exact location via Google Maps, and then it gives you an hourly rate or something like that. That can be skipped. It depends from application to application. If all the 5 features are required to solve the consumer's need, then it has to be launched with all 5 features. If one feature launches the need, then it should be perfected and then it should be launched. So launch with a perfect feature and then add more features to it.
I see, interesting.
Okay.
So if you can take another question, it is quite interesting. So this user is asking basically what the scope of this field is in India compared to other countries, and also he wants to know if it is as valuable as getting a job after an MBA, and your opinion on that.
Okay, this is a very interesting question. So as I meant, why I mentioned about China and US is that because in India the product development is almost, I would say, less than 1%. There would be like 1,000 agencies in China, so let's say 20 agencies in US, so there would be one in India at the level that we are talking about. So there's a huge scope in India, and it's surely going to go up. And why you need okay, so getting a same pay as MBA or software engineers. So that's my take on that. Would be that for after you complete MBA or get into software field, you are paid very highly for first 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Okay, so everyone thinks that it's a very lucrative job, but in most of the jobs, you are easily replaceable by someone who is coming in, and you have to work very hard to you know go up the ladder. So that's as per my experience also. But if you develop in the product development field, you will get, let's say, 1/3 the salary for first 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But you will have a holistic view of any field of product development, and after that, it will be the value of your time and your expertise. And by looking at things, you would be giving answers that this product will be made in this much time, and this is the cost of development. And after 6, 7, 10 years, depends on that, so that is like invaluable, and you would be uh, earning much more than MBA or software engineers. So all my friends, they went to Harvard and different colleges, and they took up all MBA jobs or software engineering jobs, and they are also doing good. I would not say that everyone is doing good for themselves, but after being in this field for 10 years, I feel that my technical expertise and my level is completely unmatched. And being in a good engineering college like IIT Bombay, you have the complete exposure to world-class products, to world-class labs, and you should utilize that to get into fields which are not very common like MBA or something.
Makes sense. So as you mentioned, there are very little opportunities, in this field in India. But I think one of the questions here asks that, like, what are those opportunities? Like, there must be some opportunity in India, right? So do
No,
you have an idea?
so every there are opportunities. I'm saying that there are opportunities in India, and they are growing. The Indian product development ecosystem is very small. That's what I was saying. The opportunities are coming up. As I said, you want to be a product development field. Let's say if you want to go to an MNC, then you join any MNC in that department, okay, which is mostly related to R&D or product innovation. those side where you would be interacting with global teams to how to launch and customize products for India. For example, in PNG, there was a team who would modify the packaging as per the Indian requirements. We launched before my joining PNG, we had specially launched that 1 rupee shampoo sachet, which is not globally sold anywhere. So they had to develop a machine and they had to develop a marketing around that. So that was also done by a PNG product innovation. So that scope is always there. What scope is lacking is that I'm saying I'll give you the links of some companies who develop products who are like the 100-year-old companies who are into product design only. So they are agencies. That agencies also exist in India. There is big agencies like Elephant Design. So you can go to their website and check out. They design almost all of the packaging and products for all big FMCGs in India. So there you can look into some opportunities or internships, and that would be a complete different perspective, which is a regular IIT internship that we do. So that you should try to look for these type of design agencies when you get one project for 2 months and you will be able to get a complete overview of how a product is designed.
Very interesting, very interesting. So I think we have another interesting question over here. So this person asks basically what your opinion is on what might be a good time to go for a startup. Is it after getting experience of the corporate world and or directly getting your hands dirty right after your college? So what is your opinion on that?
Okay, so there are 2-3 points to it. A lot of people ask me this, and I'll answer it very frankly for the audience. So one is, for going for a startup at any point of time, you need patience, which I think is every year with new batch it is going down. They want to start a startup and make money in next 1 year, 2 years, will be successful and will have this valuation. That's not how the world works. We'll be the next Flipkart, but Flipkart took 10 years to be where it is right now. So it's not possible. If you have patience to work hard for next 3-4 years, then you should go for a startup. And for that, generally, if you're starting directly out of college, you need some financial backing. So if you have a good family who can support you for 2-3 years, then you should try to go for startup. You can go directly also without all this if you have a very good idea, you get investment, and you have a good team. So it's a very variable question, but even with unlimited money and the best team, you still need patience. If you have that and you are willing to sacrifice 3-4 years and put in all the hard work without looking at any returns, you would surely be a great manager and a great product designer and a great CEO who would be successful not in this time but for surely in the next startup. And joining a corporate world or joining any startup, that is also good if you want to take some time to experience real world for 1 year and how it works and all that. So, but okay, if you want to do a startup, then joining a financial job in a bank or joining in this thing, let's say a software company, that would not add much value. So just decide what is giving you more exposure and join accordingly.
Makes a lot of sense. So talking about startups, this topic, one question which is very popular is that, like, if given a choice, would you like to join a startup or a big company for product development? Which would be a better opportunity and why?
Again, it is almost a similar question. If you have money and if you have patience, you do it by yourself, you will learn a lot more, because more 95% of the chances that you will fail, and failure will always lead to a lot of learning. And if you join an existing startup which has become too big, you can say that the top 10 startups in India, you would be given a small role of a small part where the learning would be less. And again, joining a small startup would also be a good option, where you can, if you have the good, you should be able to get your position in such a way that you are involved in all the management decisions. Then only you can learn from all the basics. So management decisions would be that what product to launch, how much money you need to that product, when will we launch it, why are we launching it, who will be the consumers, and what is the business model. If you can't answer these questions before joining any company for that matter, then you are just doing a normal job.
Makes a lot of sense. So, like, I was going through your product website, the Zmote website, and
Yeah.
I read a lot about the IoT products that you're building. And
Yeah.
like, I've been hearing this IoT word, and I think it is a buzzword in the tech field. So, how do you think its adoption is changing in India? Is it going to spread to the Indian middle class, or is it going to end up becoming a niche product? What is your opinion on that?
So IoT is a word. Okay, IoT is what IoT means. IoT means that any device which would connect to internet is an Internet of Thing device. Okay, so with the technology and internet becoming cheaper, your switches or your machinery can connect to internet. So these are the new IoT products. Okay, so ours is also a product. What we are selling it as, so it will surely go to the middle class, because it will become, if it's needed by the consumer. So uh, currently you would feel that that product is not needed, but once you install it, you start using it, and after 1 or 2 months it becomes into your habit, then it becomes a part of your life, and then it is needed. So that's what we did a survey. We have users of, let's say, 10,000 people have bought our product in their home. So we try to take a small survey that how many of them are using and all. So we get to know that within some time, maybe 5 years, 10 years, India would be a little later. That time, the market would be ready, and everyone would be ready to accept this type of products. So we are developing it from now. Now, once we will take around 5 years to achieve the peak of the market, or maybe 10 years. So that is what a product company's horizon looks like. If right now I start developing that I want to develop a laptop, so then I can never be successful, because it has all supply chain is set, product is developed. I can never design a better product at a better price. So that market is already lost. So we have to look at 5 years, 10 years down the line.
Correct. Makes a lot of sense. So one other field that you mentioned in your presentation was that of a product manager. And I personally was lucky enough to land a product management role in one of the top companies in India. So people ask me this all the time. Is it good to, like, how do you get into product management? Is doing an MBA better, or you just start off in the tech field as a software developer or a business analyst? So what is your opinion on this?
You are working as a product manager. I think you can answer this question better, right?
No, actually, I'm a final year student. I just got placed there, and I
Yeah.
wanted your opinion on this.
So which is the company?
Flipkart, sir.
Okay. So that's a good role. You'll get some category where you have to manage, the sales and this part. So that's a good role. So you don't need an MBA or anything. Like in the end, the product development or a product manager role, it all comes down to having a basic common sense and a basic holistic overview of a product and how it is perceived by a user. So you don't need any MBA, you don't need any software skill, you don't need any management, anything. Only thing is that you need to have this type of a mindset. As I mentioned, how this remote is made. Uh, if I ask you, like Amarnath sir in our time used to give in our class assignment that list 1,000 uses of this remote. Now that remote is only used to turn on TV. How can you list 1,000 uses of that remote? And that is what the task used to do. So similar task as a product developer would be to list 1,000 features of this remote, which is which have been given thought while developing. So if as you have more experience and more in-depth knowledge on some field, you will be able to list more features.
I understand. Okay, so I guess a lot of questions are very repetitive, but I think one question which we can take up now is, okay, this is how hard is it to get hired as a product designer at an Apple or a Google?
I cannot answer that question. I have never been hired by Apple. Well,
Yeah. So,
it's a very different question, but I know as students, I'm sure that a lot of you are only looking at how to get placed and getting into the market, which is not right now. So you would all be worried about the one question. All questions are around that only. What I would suggest you all is that this is all short term. Your life is very long. In 10 years, I'm also still learning only right now. I can only make let's say X level product right now. I have to make 10x level product. Then I have to work very hard for 10 years. Then maybe I will do it. So you know you should always focus on learning and getting into Apple or Google or getting a job as MBA doing or not. It's not very concerning right now. You should focus at what interests you. I think I am a bit successful in this field because I have been doing for past years what interests me. I was not interested. I was very much interested in PNG job for starting years, and after 2-3 years, it became repetitive, and I had no learning, so I left the job. So it is up to you that you select to do what is interesting for you. Forget about money. If you go into product development, product designing, you will not get money, a lot of money. But if it is very much interesting to you, if this field excites you, asking questions and designing a product, talking about consumers, talking about it whole day, then you should focus on learning on that. At this time, just learn. Don't focus on getting into Apple, Google. You will get there if you have knowledge.
right. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think we've covered almost all the questions here. And if anybody from the panel or somewhere else has any last questions, I think we can uh, say that. Or, sir, if you have something last to add to the students, I think we
I
can
don't,
conclude the session.
I don't think IIT's culture has changed where you are calling each other sir. Is it like that?
Force of habit.
Huh? I don't know. Anyways, so if anybody has any questions, they can ask me, no problem. Otherwise, we'll conclude.
So, are there any resources or books that you would like to suggest? We just got a question.
Yeah, that's my weak point. I don't read general entrepreneurial or these type of books. What I read mostly is all about electronics and all technical books only or technical articles. So I would
Okay.
suggest good books in that. But if you want any information on microcontroller design, coding, or PCB design, manufacturing, I would be able to suggest you on that. Sure, you can send me a mail you want, and I'll send you whatever is your interest. I'll send you the related articles and how to start on any technical field related to electronics.
So we've just got two more questions, so I'll just go through them. Basically, uh, this person is asking for suggestions for students who don't belong to IITs or the top colleges per se, and they
Yeah.
do not have access to labs and materials. So, what do you suggest they can do to improve their skills?
Okay. So there, if you don't have access to labs or materials, you can easily build your own lab at your home in less than 5,000 rupees. I don't know which background you are from, if you're from mechanical or electronics, or uh, you can suggest me. I'll suggest you what all things you need, what all books you need, or what all articles you need, and just start doing some projects. Right? In electronics, so Arduino board is now available for 250 rupees. You can build a industrial machine using that microcontroller. If you are a mechanical student, you can start building some mechanical parts using different, or you getting it done from various fabricators outside. So you can if you want any specific suggestions, I can send you how to get access to labs and materials at home at less than 5,000 rupees. Right? And there is another question: in which year did you realize that this is what you wanted to do? Again, so I realized that I wanted to do something related to technology. So I was doing that in college. Then I joined Procter and Gamble, which is again, you can say 50% technical and 50% management. There I learned a lot about corporate working style and how it's done. What I want to do is, what I want to do is, I just realized 2-3 years back when I started Zmote and started working for 1 or 2 years on it. And I realized that this is my passion and this is what excites me, which is creating and products which delights consumers and which people use and then they feel happy about.